and especially this session. So how this entire Gita in nutshell is like, the first session is independent, then second and third and fourth goes in parallel. So I covered the second and third, now we are covering the fourth session. And especially Bhagavad Gita, we are saying that Bhagavad Gita, we are covering a topic from Bhagavad Gita, and I'm wondering exactly what topics are we covering. So there are 5 topics in Bhagavad Gita, especially 5 topics. It's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. First is Ishwar. Ishwar we already completed, right? Second and third session. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Anadi Radhe Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. Discussed in length. So Ishwar we already completed. Today we are going to discuss Jiva. And then there are 3 more sections, 3 more topics. Prakriti, Kala and the world famous. Who said? What you said? Karma. World famous. So next future sessions will complete these 3 topics: Kala, Karma and Prakriti. So also before starting today's section, there was some question. We had sent a Google form with Q&A. So some of the questions were asked in that. So I'll try to cover some of them, and rest I'll try in the later end of the session if we get time. Otherwise, in the future sessions. So one question which was raised was in the first session that we had, Ahara Nidra Bhaya Maitunamcha. In that there is a word called Dharma. Dharmo Idesha Adhiko Vishesho. Dharma Hina Pashubhi Samana. Right? And we said Dharma means understanding who is God, what is God's creation, who am I. Right? These are the questions that a jiva, a living entity, a human being should ask. A human being specifically. Dharma. That's what distinguishes him from animals. So one person asked me that dharma also means at material level, right? We all do our dharma. Husband does his dharma, wife does his dharma, parents do their dharma, child is doing their dharma. So why do you explain dharma as understanding the higher purpose of life, right? If you see lot of words in Sanskrit and in English also, same word has multiple meanings, correct? Like content and content, right? Content is there and content is there. Similarly, Atma also, if you see, we will discuss more that in Bhagavad Gita, if you see, there are a lot of different levels of meanings for Atma also. Similarly, Dharma has 2 levels. One is at material level, and other one, Apara Dharma is called, Apara Dharma, and other is Paro Dharma. Now you might be thinking, this guy is making his own story, right? How should I believe him? In Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 8. I think verse number 8. You can search for this line, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma. There it explains Savai Pumsam for all the human beings. Pumsam Paro Dharma. So immediately it says Paro Dharma. That means there is a dharma which is not Para also. Paro Dharma, opposite of Paro Dharma is Apara. Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Adhokshati. Ahituki Apatyata Yatma Supasidati. So in that verse it explains that there is a higher dharma also. Now the question is how to understand whether in this verse that we were discussing, it is talking about higher dharma or the lower dharma, right? If you see the material dharma that we do, that even animals do, correct? Taking care of children, even they do. Their own duties, they also do it. But we are discussing about Adhiko Vishesho, something which is different than animals. So we understand then this is not talking about the Apara Dharma, it is talking about the Para Dharma, right? So that is one understanding. Okay, so everybody understood why we are talking about, when we talk about dharma, in this verse we are specifically talking about the Paradharma. Paradharma. Okay. So we will start with today's session, which is Who Am I? Life After Death. Kaun hu main? Kaka kaun hu? There is a song, right? So we will discuss Who Am I? If you see, just now I just asked Ajit, right? And then I asked also Urvi, right? I asked this question, can you introduce yourself? Most of the people, when they introduce themselves, they will say their name, they will talk about their nationality, right? They will talk about where they work, correct? Then they will talk about what else? Gender maybe, right? Then you will say, in schools you used to have introduce yourself, they used to say like all that. Maybe gender they will mention, what else they will mention, maybe caste they will mention. Maybe they'll talk about their parents' names, right? All these things they mention. Right? But if you think deeply, all of these things can change. Right? After marriage, we see females' names mostly changes, the surname, the last name changes. In Sindhi, even the first name changes. So people who are Sindhi, they might be aware. That is Sindhi. So the first name also changes. So first name, the name is also not something that we keep for. It can also change. Nationality, obviously, right? If you move from one place to another in US, right? Many people are dreaming for the citizenship, or maybe UK or any other place, right? Nationality can change. What about gender? Gender can change. Yes, gender can also change. People are right now. If you see, gender can change, right? But still, the person is still there. I mean, he still think the thought process a little bit would have changed. I mean, the way of seeing life, but that individual is still there. But name has changed. Name can change. Gender can change. Nationality can change. Parents can change. If if parents separate themselves, then maybe adopted father and adopted child. So even parents can change. Right? So who is that remain as oneself? Right? Who is that I? Once Jayapataka Maharaj, he's one of the sannyasi in ISKCON. He was going to a Bengal to a place where he wanted to print some books. So he saw one question paper. In Bengal it was mentioned, Ami Parichay Ki. Who am I? Ami Parichay Ki, who am I? And then he saw the professor was printing this question paper. So then Jayapataka Maharaj said, what is the answer that people usually write for the students? So he said, some write their name, some write nationality and all. So Jayapataka Maharaj again, he was wondering that this name that each and every one of us are writing are actually not theirs. Right? It is changing. And that is why Bhagavad Gita explains very emphatically and systematically that all these things will change with the time. Only thing that will remain, which is real I, is that Atma. Very clearly says that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. Science has also proved that after 7 years, our body completely changes. So who am I? Our entire life we are actually working hard for our body. Entire life we are working for our body, and surprise, that will not remain with us. Who we are is body, spirit, soul. And that's why Jayapataka Maharaj actually says to that professor, what if I say, if in the answer where I write Ami Atma, he will give marks to the students? He said no, they will get big 0. Why? Because that's what is taught from childhood. Work for the body. Right? Everything that you are doing after the entire class also, this includes myself also, after the entire class is over, till the end of the class, we'll think, Atma. We'll see entire session. Once you go back home, once you get ping from a colleague, let's complete this first. Right? Atma ke baad mein. Right? You are Atma only. We'll see that. Right? That is the nature. That is how Maya works. We'll discuss about Prakriti in the next session. If we are trying to pretend that we are not, you know what these people are called? If we are trying to pretend something that we are not. Let's say a person comes, he's like a caricature, and he does the acting of, let's say, Shah Rukh Khan. So for 5 minutes he keeps doing, we will be laughing. Wow, acting, right? We'll keep laughing. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 1 hour. Right? And you realize after some time that he actually acts only like Shah Rukh Khan only, full time. What will you, when you see this kind of person, what will you say? He is
impersonating.
Duplicate, okay. He's mad. Right? I mean, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay. Continuously he's behaving like some other person only. So you will tell him a crazy man. Surprise, surprise. There was a situation also like that. Like we are not this body, but we are pretending as if we are this body. We are pretending as if we are this body. We'll see that in today's session. Today's session and next session is going to be very revealing. Also, one question was asked that if we are going through a grief, how to overcome this grief? Are we going to cover that? We are going to cover in the next session. That part. Anyways, coming back. Once Jawaharlal Nehru, who is the former Prime Minister of India, he went to a mad Pagalkhana, a place where people who are getting trouble from respect to mental problems, they were there. So one mental guy, he asked him, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Jawaharlal Nehru." He said, "Okay, what do you do?" He said, I'm the Prime Minister of India." When he came, he said like that. When he was Prime Minister, he said, "I'm the Prime Minister of India." So he started laughing. He started laughing loudly. Jawaharlal Nehru said, this guy said, "Why are you laughing?" When I said, "I'm Prime Minister of India," he said, "Before I came here, I used to say the same thing." When I came here, I used to say the same thing. Right? Again, we think that we are this body, but actually, Krishna, the entire second chapter, we are going to discuss in detail. He gives various points about why we are not this body, we are this spirit. So you can ask, but we'll. Quick one, yeah.
So how do you consciously say? So all of us, as you said, will go back and there's a thing.
Yes.
But how do you consciously keep yourself on saying that yes, I am?
Yes. That we will discuss in sixth session. But I'll be discussing a little bit about that also. Namrata also asked similar question last time. I'll be discussing that also more in detail. That when you say that seeing is believing, right? We had asked this question. So similarly, how to see soul? If we see the soul, then we can, in our everyday life, we can understand that actually I'm the spirit soul, not the body. On the similar lines. But there is a process, and we'll discuss that in detail. That will come in sixth session. But just a tidbit that what we are doing, many of you might be thinking that, oh, why are we doing this? 5 minutes we could have saved and done some more session. At the initial kirtan that was done by Nityananda Rai Prabhu. Why we were doing that? We would have just saved some time, would have done some question answers. But this kirtan is actually helping us to understand this whole subject. The Harinam, the holy names of the Lord in this Kali Yuga is the most important. It goes beyond holy name has so much potential. For this Kali Yuga especially. In this Kali Yuga it is mentioned that in Kali Santana Upanishad. We'll discuss that more again in sixth session. But the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the most potent mantra. That's why there are many mantras all over the world. You'll see many mantras, right? One of the mantra is another mantra. Can you think of some mantra that you have heard? Gayatri mantra, yeah. There's another mantra is Gaukhar and Patiharar. Right? There's another mantra. There's another. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra is considered as the Mahamantra. Anyway, we'll discuss more in sixth session. So we see that we are trying to pretend that we are this body, but actually who we are the spirit soul. And now in the next 30-35 minutes, we'll see what are the different explanations or proofs that the scriptures explain us, by which we can have more conviction of why we are the spirit soul. If you see, you might be thinking, I know this. Why are you discussing? I know this. Last year, 3 years back, I was giving a class in Santa Clara University, and I asked on this same topic. And I started the class only asking, so what do you think? Are you guys spirit, soul or body? Atma or you are the body? So many of them said, body. I said, body? He said, no, Atma. I said, Atma? He said, no, I think both. That was a confusion. Basically, they are confused. They are confused people. So the first is common sense. Right? When we see someone leaving, right? When someone has left, we say that he has left me. he has left the world, right? But the body is still there. Body is still there. So who actually left? Right? I mean, that time we get the revelation when someone just says that, why are you crying? Why are you crying? He's still there. See, the body is still there. That is what you are attached to, right? That body you are attached to. Still there. Then why are you crying? Then you realize that, yeah, body is still there. Then who has actually left? Who has actually left? That is the moral people who take spirituality are the people during the time when they have left someone. And someone left them, next time they actually start questioning them. Otherwise, work same, like work hard, party harder. But when actually someone leaves us, that's when we realize that what is the goal of life? What is the goal of life? Right? So this, right? When a person dies, they say that he has passed away, but who really has passed away? The body is still there. So actually the soul has left. Soul has left the body. Soul has left the body. This is a very nice verse. It says, Yavat pavano nivasati dehe, tavat prichati kushalam gehe, gatavati vayo deha paye, bharya vibhidi tasmin kaya. When the soul is present in the body, that time you'll ask, how are you doing? Kushal Mangal, everything is going good. And the body is there, will you ask, how are you? Everything is alright? No. Right? So that's what. Yavat pavanam nivasati dehe, tavat prichati kushalam gehe. You are asking, how are you? Everything is fine. And then gatavati vayo deha paye. When the vayu, the life air has left the body, deha paye, bharya vibhidi tasmin kaya. The wife always wants seclusion with her husband. He tries to send everyone away from that, you leave. I want to have seclude time with my husband. But the same wife, when the husband has left, the soul has left, the wife will say, please, all of you come, I am feeling afraid. Seeing the same body, the wife is not afraid. But earlier, when the soul was present, the wife was saying, I want seclusion. And now soul has left, the wife is saying, I am scared. The wife is working hard for making some food for the husband, and that time she is washing the hands, and then she is preparing the food stuff. Now, after touching the body, she is washing the hands. What is the difference? Right? Before, she is cooking everything, that time she is washing the hands for the husband, and now, just by touching the body of the husband, she is washing the hands. Because the soul is no longer there. Because the soul is no longer there. Right? See, it is just the way we speak also, right? We say, my iWatch. This is my iWatch. My watch. Right? Why? Because I am not the watch. Are you the watch? No. He has the watch. Will you say I watch? I mean, you will say wrong example. I watch. You will say my watch. Right? Similarly, you will say my hands. Right? Will you ever say, my body is paining a lot today? So sickly. No, you will say, my body is paining a lot. See, we know that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. My means something that I possess, but not something that I am. For that I will say I. Right? For that I will say I. Same, my head. We will say my head. Why? Because we are not the head. We are not the mind also for that matter. We see that. Right? So we say that we understand, right? Just by common sense we understand that we are not this body, we are something higher than that, the spirit soul. Right? Second reasoning, the scriptures explain is consciousness. Just because we are conscious, we discuss about dead body and a living person. What is the difference between the dead body and living person is the consciousness, right? Consciousness. We are conscious, right? We are conscious. We'll see this video. We'll give more understanding.
The faith to
Right? So the presence of consciousness, because you are conscious, there are three things by which we can say we are conscious beings. Three things: thinking, feeling, and willing. Okay. Thinking, feeling, and willing. Like for example, thinking. this guy is boring me to the hell. When will he stop? This is thinking, right? Feeling. Feeling is like I'm feeling little hot today, right? That is feeling. And willing is next time I will not come to the class. This is willing, right? Imagine a dead body lying here and suddenly he says, very nice class, huh? That is thinking, right? And imagine he comes there and taps on Harsha. Harsha, AC is, can you reduce the temperature more? Right? The dead body, right? That is feeling. And willing is like, obviously, next time I will not come. But the point is again, what is the difference between living body, a living body and a dead body is the consciousness, thinking, feeling, and willing. These three things, living entity do because of the presence of soul, which dead body cannot do. If you see a camera, who can figure it out what is red light? If he sees anything, he will say it's red light, right? But the reaction will be like only red light. If he sees a red rose, he will still say red light. He'll see a sun ray, dark sun ray red, he will say red light, right? But when a human being who has soul present, is not dead body, he will not just say red light. He will say wow, sunlight, sunrise, right? When you see a rose, he'll think of something beautiful, right? He might have some reaction, exclamation also, wow, amazing, right? But a robot cannot do that. He will just say red light. That is the difference between, because of the presence of consciousness that comes from Atma, soul. The soul actually is the one which pervades the entire consciousness. And the example is given the sun and the soul. It's compared to the sun. If you don't have to see the sun. Just by seeing the sunlight, you can say there is a sun. Similarly, just by the consciousness, you can say there is a soul. Just by the presence of consciousness.
What is this O son of Bharata meaning? Son of Bharat from Ramayana?
This is Arjuna. Arjuna, O son of Bharata. This basically a descendant. It means Arjuna. Arjuna has been named variously, with various names. One is Gudakesha, various. Once in second chapter, he also tells him fool. So, because of the questions Arjuna is asking. So, we will see when we discuss more in detail that. So, camera will say, I see red light, right? But a conscious being will say more than that, right? We discussed this. Consciousness means being aware, thinking, feeling, and willing. These are the three things. Thinking, feeling, and willing. That's when one understands that there is a presence of consciousness. Soul is there, present. You know this guy? No, right? Obviously, I also didn't know. I also came to this guy. He is Michael Sabon. So he is a basically cardiologist from Emory University, US. So once what happened was, a lady came unconscious completely in the hospital, and that lady never seen this hospital before. Completely first time she was coming unconscious, and Michael Sabon was treating her, and then when she woke up from the consciousness, she told Michael Sabon that there is a very beautiful oak tree in front of the gate of the hospital. And Michael Sabon was completely taken aback because she was completely unconscious when she entered the hospital. And suddenly, and she never came to the hospital before. It was the first time that she had come. And suddenly she is saying that the oak tree that I saw in front of the hospital is very beautiful. And then Michael Sabon asked, how did you see the oak tree? When did you see the oak tree? She said, when you were trying to treat me, that time I just went to the terrace. From terrace, I saw the oak tree. Michael Sabon, he immediately called his guards and he said, why was the terrace open? In hospitals, terraces are never open. Why? Because you never know, a person might get into depression and he might try to jump. So terraces are never open in the hospitals. So Michael Sabon immediately called the guards and said, why was the terrace open? And then the guard said the terrace was never open. From last 3-4 months, it has always been closed. Michael was thinking, when did she actually went? And then Michael asked, what did you see in the terrace? Then she said on the left, when I entered, I saw that on the left hand side there was some kind of Nike shoes, old Nike shoes. And the right hand side there was some kind of a tank, water tank sort of thing. I don't know exactly what it was. And from there, then I saw the oak tree. And then Michael Sebam himself went up to the terrace. And then he saw on the left hand side there was a Nike shoes, pair of Nike shoes, old Nike shoes. On the right hand side there was a water tank. This one incident gave rise to a field of research called near-death experience and out-of-body experience. Sometimes for a split second, the Atma leaves the body and Atma is actually seeing the body. It's called near-death experience, and still the researchers are happening. More than 200 cases were found out later on. After Michael Sermon saw the first case, the field of research started, and then near-death experience and out-of-body experience. This is the third proof why there is soul, and we are the soul, not the body. 11 to 40% of the average American population who are mentally and physically healthy have had out-of-body experience. And this is Michael Sermon. Enough research in NDE with impeccable scientific credentials. In fact, Sachinandan Maharaj is 20-25 years back. He's from ISKCON. So once he was treated, Sachinandan Swami, he was treated once again in the hospital. And when he woke up, he said that while you are operating, you should not discuss about golf. Golf is very risky. You could have cut wrong now. And all the doctors were shocked because that time he was actually unconscious. So how did he came to know that we were discussing about golf? While surgery. Right? So we see this out-of-body experience. This is a quick. Next is the world famous reincarnation. This guy on the left is Ian Stevenson. There is a very famous story. So we completed the third part, which is out-of-body experience and near-death experience. There was a guy, his name was Deep Kapadia, and he was born in Borivali. Any of you from Mumbai? Oh, entire gang only. Okay. Yeah, I stay in Borivali, in small place in Mumbai. So this guy was born in a Gujarati family. Anyone Gujarati? Entire group only Gujarati. Okay. So he was born in a Gujarati family, but within 10 months of his age, 10 months, that people can't even speak properly, he started speaking Marwadi. Within 10 months of age, he started speaking Marwadi, and he started saying that I'm actually from Udaipur, and I was a guard of one of the museums. I should take care of it. They killed me. Continuously he was saying that. So first, they thought that some mental problem is happening. So the parents went to the family doctor, and the family doctor said, his brain is like a 10-year-old. And then they did some testing, and then they realized the brain is developing correctly based on 1-2 years, whatever his age was. But he was speaking like a 10-year-old boy. So then they went to one of the very famous doctor in Mumbai. His name was Dr. Kini. And then Dr. Kini, after talking to this boy for some more time, he understood this is a reincarnation case. Anyways, we'll talk about that. Reincarnation case. And then what happened is, they decided that wherever he's asking about Udaipur, we'll take him there. Let's see what he really knows. So they went, and that time Chitralekha magazine, some of you might know, one of the very famous magazines, Chitralekha, they came to know about this story. So one guy his name was Gokhale, he said, I want to cover the entire story. So his parents were so scared, he said, we don't want to go anywhere. And it's scary, right? Imagine, it's so scary. So they said that, the Chitralekha magazine, they said that if this is false, we will not publish anything, don't worry. But we want to come. So they also came, and then Dr. Kini also called this guy Ian Stevenson because he was doing the research on reincarnation from US. professor of psychology, University of Virginia. So he also came there. And then they all were traveling through a train. This I'm talking about 1970s, 1980s. They were all traveling by train. And then most of them were new to that place because they are a Gujarati family and Marwadi, and not so much everyone travels to Udaipur and all. So this guy himself said that Udaipur came and he jumped down from the 2-year. By the time this all happened, he was already 2 years. 2-year guy, he jumped on the train. This is Udaipur. They all followed him. And then there was a Tangiwala there, like a rickshaw horse, and he said, Ramu, how are you? And this Ramu got scared. He's saying, how are you? And then they showed various monuments. He said, this is the place, like that, Fatehpur Junction. And then anyways, and then they reached, then this guy reached, he showed where is his home. And there he said, this is my son. 20-year-old guy saying, this is my son. And the son got really frightened. Who is this guy? I mean, they were very rich. This deep point, his name was Pannalal. He was very filthy rich, he was. So he thought that this guy, this 2-year-old has come just to, his family and all, they are trying to take away some wealth from us. So he was completely confused. He said, no, this is all bogus and all. He was, and then one of the guy, he said that this guy, 2-year-old guy, his face cut is exactly matching like your sister's. Sisters, I mean, his brother, his son's sister. That means his daughter. So they all started thinking, what is happening? Like exactly the face cut is matching. And then the son was very confused. The son then said that he asked some questions which only his father and the son knew. And he asked those questions where the sword kept, because they were from the descendant. I mean, he was taking care of the descent from Maharana Pratap, 44th descendant. So he asked all the questions, impeccably he answered all of them. And then he said that, okay, let's go to the museum where actually I was killed. He took them to the museum. And there he showed that from here there are 2 stairs. One is public one and there is one private. So all the guards were saying there is only public one. And then it was covered by a photo frame. He said, remove this frame. So this frame has been there for a long time, the guard said. So no, remove this frame. Behind this frame, there is a private stairs. They removed the frame and then they saw there was a private stairs. Then he said there are 3 kerosene fans. Those times, kerosene fans. He said there are kerosene fans are there, exactly 3. He said, but it doesn't work. Nobody knows how to work, he doesn't know. Now this guy doesn't know how to even run electric fan, but he knew kerosene fan. He showed how to run the kerosene fan. So then this became a sensation. The Eco-Party, you just Google. I mean, very famous. This became a sensation. Even Dalai Lama also came just to meet him. It became a sensation. And then after that, 1600, more than 2000 cases were such which was found where
there is a documentary on Netflix, right?
Yes.
On all these things.
That's correct. There's a lot of stories. In fact, one is in, one is within ISKCON only. So there was a guy whose name was David, and that David, he came from a family where parents were sort of, his father was alcoholic and all, and within 15 age, he lost his father, and he started asking questions of what is life, and then he came across some devotees were dancing on the streets, Hare Krishna, Harinam they were doing. So by the age of 17, he met them, he read Srila Prabhupada's books, and then he had firm conviction that he wants to practice this. But what happened is, due to he and his friend, in the story it is not mentioned because, so his name is Krishnadas Brahmachari. You can think of anonymous for now, Krishnadas Brahmachari. Krishnadas and this guy, he became initiated, his name was Raghav Das, by the time he got initiated. They both were traveling by a bus and they had a sudden accident. It was around 1976 or something. And then 1978, a girl was born. And the girl, continuously she was getting dreams about a car accident, about a black stairs and hills and greenery. She never understood what is this happening to her, especially the accident part. So by the time she was 17 and all, she also saw some Harinam dancers dancing, and she took a book. She read Bhagavad Gita, and in that it was mentioned about soul and how soul moves from one body to another. Dehimasmita de kaumaram yavanunjara tata dehantra prakti dhirasatram hondi. Dhira, a sober person is the one who understands that soul is just passing from boyhood to old age to death. But if a person is not understanding, then he will always be frustrated. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? A sober person, he will be a sober person who understands this science of soul. So she understood, she felt that something is going on. Maybe something from past life she thought. And then by then she was in connection with Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, another very advanced Vaishnava in ISKCON. She took initiation from him. And then she spoke about this entire story that she's seen some of the things in dreams, and she was getting a lot of headaches because of that. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj said, maybe you can do past life regression with some doctor. Doctor, you can see what is it about. And she also had a Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru basically one who is helping them in spirituality. Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. You can Google all these very famous personalities. He also said maybe you can try past life regression. So when she did the past life regression, that time both the doctors, she did from two places. Both the doctors said that she is able to remember her past life. And then she came to know that she was actually a devotee. That was the reason why she was able to connect with Bhagavad Gita immediately. For some people it takes time. She was immediately able to connect with Bhagavad Gita. She said because she was actually Raghav Das in the previous life. And she actually got into an accident. And that's why because it was so shocking. And then she came back. And she came to know. She met the person. It was the same person whom Raghav also met. Tribhuvanant Prabhu. So she met him. She also met Krishnadas and she said, I'm back. Krishnadas was very guilty. Throughout the life, he was very guilty that because of him. Because while driving, he slept by mistake. And that was the reason the accident happened. And then when she came back to Bhakti Charan Maharaj and said, what I'm going to discuss now is more going to be discussed in the next session, but I'm just going to take 10 minutes just to complete this story. Bhakti Charan Maharaj then jokingly said, so he was like only 17 years old, Raghav Das. So then Bhakti Charan Maharaj said, so who were you attracted to in the last life? She said, she was feeling very embarrassed. Why is he saying like that? So he said, which girl were you attracted to so much that you got the body of a female in this life? Again, Bhagavad Krishna explains that whatever you remember at the moment of death, that is the body you will take in the next life. So this girl was completely confused. What is it happening? She was feeling embarrassed. That I was attracted to some girl or something. And then she went back. She started asking some of her friends because Raghav Das was connected to Edinburgh Temple. He was a David and he was connected to Edinburgh Temple. And this girl was connected to Landenishwar, Bhaktivedanta Manor Temple. She tried to go there and she tried to start asking friends. And then he said, that some of the friends said, yes, there was one girl, her name was Satyavati again. This name is also, they kept it anonymous. Satyavati. And he was attracted also at the same time. She was a verse also. So then she met Satyavati later on. And then she told Bhakti Charan Maharaj, actually, Krishna has been very merciful to you that you are able to remember all this. But take it. It's very traumatic because she got married, but because she was able to remember so much, she couldn't sustain her marriage because she was thinking that I'm actually a boy and now. Then she left. She had to separate because she just felt that she wants to give her life completely to Harinam. But again, the point is sometimes we think, I also want to remember my past life. But actually, it is very traumatic. Deep Kapadia, whenever these dreams used to come, he used to have an acute pain in his knees and he used to get severe headache. Imagine you're seeing something traumatic, right? And you know which people actually remember the past life? Not everyone. Only the people who are very attached to something. If you're attached to body, maybe, or you're attached to some person. So if you're not able to remember your past life, congratulations. You're not very, very attached. And that is why you're not able to remember your past life. But if you're very attached, like for that person, because it was sudden accident, right? So he immediately remembered that girl. And then next time, he took the body of the girl. Right? And then she went to the old Edinburgh Temple. But that temple was no longer there. It was a pub now. But what she saw was there was a black stairs there. And she immediately got connected that this is what I was seeing in my dreams. And she was also seeing the garden. I forgot that. She was also seeing a very nice garden. near the Edinburgh temple was a very beautiful garden where this Raghav Das used to chant his Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then she went to the place where Raghav Das was born, to that house. And there from the window she could see that hills and greenery and everything. And she understood this is what I was seeing in the dream. Everything she was able to understand what she was seeing. But the point again is past life memories, reincarnation, which shows now in Deep Kapadia, 2 years of age. How could he connect with that Udaipur place, that museum and everything? Body is gone, right? Body is gone. What was there which was connecting? Obviously, that was the soul. We'll see that soul itself is spiritual. Anyways, yeah, we'll see. I don't want to digress. It was the same that I discussed because of the video. We'll skip it. This is Ian Stevenson. Why I'm showing this is this guy. He actually wrote a paper. Let me show you. There's another thing which I missed. Not so important, but that girl, she was constantly having the pain in her stomach, and there was birthmarks that she had. Sometimes we have this, not necessarily every time, but sometimes we have this mole or something, that birthmarks. Actually, for her, she understood that when she got into an accident, when she did the postmortem, when she went to the postmortem, she understood that her entire belly was completely ruptured very badly, and the birthmarks were still there. If you see here also, here the birthmarks are there. And then when this guy actually did his postmortem, he came to know that he was shot here. Again, the point is past life memory, reincarnation. It's true. The fourth point. So we discussed 4 points. Common sense. Second was consciousness. Just having the consciousness, we can know that we are not this body with the spirit soul. Third is NDE, near-death experience. Fourth is obviously reincarnation. This just shows that we are not this body with the spirit soul. We are something higher than the body.
I have a question. But the birthmarks and all these are kind of
Not necessarily, I said not necessarily.
body, right?
Correct. What a body. But because he was, when there is strong attachment, so that time there are some ways by which you are giving the hint that this might be from previous thing. Obviously, it's not like that body ruptured, so the next body came. Obviously, new body could, there would not necessarily there will be marks, not necessarily marks, but there might be. And it might be because of the previous one. But yeah, good
Is she
question.
alive? Is she alive?
Yes. You can do Google, you can just search for Ratnavali Dasi. There's one famous video of hers where she's doing Harina on the streets. African drums, she's doing. So next question is, can we see the soul? Right? Namra asked that question last time about brain. Right? Similarly, there's another verse. I thought I'll pick up something from the scripture itself. In the rose, can you see the rose fragrance? Fragrance of the rose. Can you see the rose fragrance in the rose? No. What about sesame? Can you see oil in the sesame seeds? No. Fire in the wood? Fire in the wood? No. What about paneer? Paneer in milk? Can you see paneer in milk? No. What about jaggery in sugarcane? No. What happens in order to see that? What you need to do is some process. You have to go through some process. Like yesterday, I was, farting the milk. I don't know what, breaking the milk, whatever. You understand, splitting the milk line. So I was making paneer. It's a process. I had to boil it. When it goes to boil, then I have to put lemons, right? And that's how it breaks. Whatever, tears, splits. And then paneer is paneer. Then paneer also you have to then hang it, put in the fridge, next day it becomes hard. Okay. So it's a process. Similarly, there is a process to even understand, to see the soul. There is a process. We'll see that in future sessions. There is a verse from Chanakya Niti. Pushpe gandham tiletailam kashte gnim vayasi iksha gudam tatha dehe paschatmanam vekatah. Who is an intelligent person? As you seek fragrance in a flower, oil in sesame seed, fire in wood, ghee in milk, jaggery in sugarcane, so seek the spirit that is in the body by means of discrimination. But able to discriminate it by through a process. By a process you are able to discriminate. Otherwise it is difficult. We will see what is the process in the future sessions. I'll go a little fast. Okay. So let's do an experiment, quick experiment. Maybe I'll take Harsha only because he's a
Scientist.
whoever attended previous session, he's a scientist. Yes. Sorry. so Harsha, once his friend asked him that can you lend me a cycle, and he took the cycle. His friend took the cycle, and then suddenly his friend is hypothetical, obviously hypothetical. His friend met with an accident, and the cycle was completely sort of got a little bit destroyed, sort of, and also some even his friend also got some hurt. So now Harsha immediately reached there, the place. What do you think? He would have first taken the cycle to fix it, or the friend? Okay, friend, sure, not the cycle. Okay, because the cycle was completely gone, he decided now to take a Lamborghini. Okay, which was costing like $100,000 something. Got a cheaper one, second hand shift. So now that friend was already sort of affected. So another friend asked that can I take a Lamborghini? I want to show off to my colleagues. So Harsha said okay, take. So he took the Lamborghini also, he took along with him, like his friend. His Lamborghini also got an accident. Immediately someone called Harsha. So Harsha saw one place Lamborghini was completely gone, and other place his friend. 100,000 Lamborghini, and other place his friend. What do you think? Who would he have taken first? The Lamborghini or his friend? Lamborghini? Harsha, what do you think? What you would have taken? Friend. Okay. He has heart. Right? Yeah, now let's say third one. This is not Harsha. Caltrain. There's a Caltrain running on the tracks, and suddenly a Caltrain met with an accident, and hundreds of people are injured. And suddenly police and all comes, and now they are trying to deciding whether to first fix the Caltrain, and so that Caltrain can start, or take the people who are injured to the hospital. What do you think? What they would have done? People, right? You know what? If you see Harry Monson's research, you will have a different opinion. The human body is made of 60 pound person is made of 5 pounds of calcium, 1.5 pounds of phosphate, and some extra. You know what is the total cost of the body? Only the material. What is the total cost of body? Round about $5. My God. Lamborghini, that's why they said me. They knew that theory. $5, the body costs only $5. But still, we will try to save the person. Why? Not because of the body, but because of the soul. Because the body costs only $5. And that is why, even after understanding all this, we are busy trying to decorate the cage and not realizing the parrot is not getting any food. Imagine, right? There is a parrot in the cage, you're nicely decorating, but you're not feeding the parrot. As the bird is trapped in a cage, the soul is trapped in material body. As old lady is polishing the cage, forgetting to feed the parrot, people are pampering the material body, forgetting to nourish the soul. Right? Material viewpoint, we are the body is made of matter, we are no more than a chemical bundle, everything is finished at the time of death. But spiritual viewpoint is that we are not the material body of flesh and bones, we are the spirit soul. Right? And we see that, right? Body decomposes. After certain hours, once soul has left, the body decomposes. Why? Body is still there, right? Why it is decomposing? It's because soul is not sending the consciousness now anymore. Obviously, to the heart, we see that. Now, so how many bodies do we have? One. Okay. Any other?
Briefly, it is 7 items.
7.
Sukshma Sharira,
Okay.
Sthula Sharira,
What else? 2. Okay. What else? Okay. Yeah, scriptures explain there are two bodies covering the soul. 2 bodies. One is a gross body, which is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether. We discussed this at Panch Mahabhut. Right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. And second is what Venkat said, Sukshma Sharir. This is Sthula, Gross in Sanskrit means sthula, sthula sharir, and sukshma sharir. From sthula comes sthula, sthula sharir, and then sukshma sharir. Sukshma means subtle. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. When you leave the body, when soul is transferred from one body to another, the gross body leaves, right? But subtle body is the one which goes to the next body along with the soul. Subtle body goes along with the soul. And we will not discuss that much this time, but just as a again tidbit. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. That is where the desires are stored. You'll see a video. And third is soul. Sat Chit Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. We'll discuss this also. But soul is covered by two bodies. It's like you can think of a three-piece suit. Right? Shirt is there, on it, coat is there. You can all see the coat, but you might not be able to see the shirt. Shirt is the subtle body, and soul is the one which is covered by subtle body and
Does mind contains memory also?
yes. Mind is the one which is repository of all the desires. We'll see this. I'll make it a little faster. Right. So, both subtle body and gross body, both are material. But the soul is spiritual. Anyway, we'll discuss that. So, mind, we discussed storehouse of thoughts, unfulfilled desires, previous experiences. Right? We'll discuss this more again in the next session. So, I'll just skip it. Yeah, so if you see this example, the five horses are the five senses. Okay? And this guy who is holding, he is the intelligence. Okay? And the reins is the mind. If the guy who is the intelligence is not able to handle through the mind properly the horses, then that is the jiva, the soul, is always in anxiety. This is the Katha Upanishad. There is a similar verse given in Katha Upanishad that the intelligence is the one who will control the senses through the mind, because mind will go haywire. It's the intelligence which will control. If the intelligence is not able to control, it's same when you have exams, should study or not. The intelligence will say study, it's your exam, but mind will say, man, it's IPL time. Right? And then the soul is the one who suffers. And that's why I see the soul behind is. This is the analogy that is given in Katha Upanishad of the five. So we'll discuss more in detail. But mantra, man means mind and tra should deliver. And Hare Krishna Mahaprabhu is actually the mantra which helps to deliver us to recognize, so that we can recognize that we are not this body but we are the spirit soul. Now we'll rush through some of the characteristics of soul. Soul is indestructible. Nainam chindanti shashtani, nainam dahati pavakah, na chainam klede antapo, na shoshayati maratah. All these verses are from Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, especially this one. The soul can never be cut to pieces, right? By any weapon. When AK-47 is and someone dies, it's the body which is dying. Why dying? Because nainam chindanti shashtani. Nobody can kill the soul. Not burned by fire. Even if the fire comes, still the body will be burned, not the soul. Not moistened. Even if you die in swimming pool, still the body will be moistened, not the soul. Not given by the wind. And that is the reason why Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam explained that there is a personality even in sun planet and all the planets. Like in sun planet there is River Swan. And similarly, like there was a guy, he was working in a chemical factory in India. And once a year, they clean the entire big, like a container, which is very poisonous container. It's a chemical factory. And that guy was mentioning that when they clean the entire container, at the bottom, they see living entities. Living entities. Why? Because soul, by nature, cannot be destroyed just by poison. If the body gets a particular body, the body gets particular cover by which it can then handle the poison. But as soon as the insects are taken out of the container, they die. So they are thriving on the poison. They're thriving on the poison. Because soul cannot be destroyed by all these things. And that's why you see some can stay in water, some cannot stay in water. It's the outer cover which is the reason. Soul is indestructible. Soul is indestructible. Right. Soul is an individual. Sometimes why we are discussing is because people say हम सब एक है, we are all one. No, we are all one. Can you think what I am thinking right now? Now I can think what you are thinking. Each and every one of us is an individual. Even these two twins who might have come from the same egg, but still they have individual soul. They have individual soul. We'll skip. Ian Stevenson again. For this cricket match. So, in this, who won? India. Who lost? Can we say that both won? No. Right? If someone is winning, then someone has to lose. Right? So one is victory, then other is anti-victory. Right? Again. Similarly, we have matter and antimatter. Matter is destructible. Is microphone. We sometimes get destroyed. Someday in the future. I hope not today, but someday in the future it will be destroyed. But not the soul. Soul is indestructible. Right? This microphone, this unconscious, is not reacting. Unconscious. But if I do the same thing, conscious. Living in it is conscious. And because it can be destroyed, it causes misery. But because there is no destruction of the soul, there is always happiness. When I asked you last time the question, why each one of us are seeking for happiness, from where it is coming actually from the soul. Right? Chaitanya, conscious means Chaitanya. It also means knowledge, but Chaitanya, Chit. Indestructible means eternal. Eternal means Sat, continuous. And happiness means bliss, Ananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Spirit soul by nature is Sat, Chit, Ananda. And material body by nature is Asat, Achit, and Nirananda. Last time we discussed, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. I said we'll discuss in the next session. Right? We are spirit, and that's why we are Satchidananda. Krishna is also Supreme Spirit, and that's why he is also Satchidananda. He is Satchidananda Vigraha, the personality of all the Satchidananda. And that is why soul by nature is not destructible. Where does the soul resides? In the region of the heart. This verse again comes from Mundaka Upanishad. We'll skip it. It also, in the 18th chapter, also it is mentioned that Riddhi Arjuna Tishtati, that soul is situated near the heart. So you must be thinking, but when the heart stop pumping, that's when a person dies. But who is giving that energy to the heart to pump? That is actually the soul. It's like, have you seen a toy where there is a toy is there, machine is there, and there is battery is there, right? Machine is doing something, but where does machine is getting that energy? To the battery. So similarly, soul is the one which is giving the energy to the heart. And once the soul leaves, heart stops pumping. Heart stops pumping. So it resides in the region of the heart. And soul continuously changes body. There are 9. This is the verse 2.13. Dehinos Smita Dehe Kaumaram Yavanam. When Arjuna was completely frustrated, he asked 5 questions. He was completely frustrated. And then Krishna, you know what he started with? The first thing that he spoke is this. Unless until we don't know who am I, what will the discussion start with? First thing he said is this. Right? Builder by such a sober person. He is a sober person who understands that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul. There are 9 stages of the body. This comes from Srimad Bhagavatam. Nishaka Garbha Janmani, Balya Kaumari Yoganam, Vayu Madhyani, Yajara Mrityu, Ityavatas Tanonava. Impregnation at the time of conception, first stage. Second, gestation in the womb. Third, birth, infancy, childhood, youth, middle age, old age, death. These are all the 9 stages of the body. It goes through all these changes. But who remains? Soul. Srimad Bhagavatam 11 canto 29 chapter, first 147. This 11 canto Srimad Bhagavatam explains. The most important question: what is the size of the soul? Size of the soul. This is mentioned in Shvetashvara Upanishad 5.9. Balagra Shatabhakasya Shatada Prakitasya Cha Bhago Jivasa Vigyaya Sarchanantyaya Kalpate. In the upper point of the head, upper point, you can understand how small it is. Cut that upper point into 100 pieces and take that one piece and do another 100 pieces. that is the size of the soul. This Shetashoka Upanishad explains. When the upper point is joined to 100 part, and each part is again joined to such part is a measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. There's one guy, one devotee, his name is Srinathji. So he has his own university, and he had his researchers like electrons, protons, and all. They were able to do it, and he asked, can we? And he gave a measurement. He said, can this instrument measure that? He said, no, it's beyond. For finding out the height of the person, what do we use? Inch tape, ruler, inch tape. If you want to find the weight of the person, what do we use? Weighing machine. And if I want to find out the temperature of the person, thermometer. Can we use thermometer to find out the height of the body? No, we can try once. What about weight of the body? Can we find out? Just finding out within the body different measurements, we need different tools. The spirit soul is spiritual by nature. We cannot find out just by material things. And that is why all these subjects, height, body, temperature, all this are material sciences. But the soul is known as spiritual science.
And who measured soul?
Huh?
Who measured soul?
This comes from obviously from scriptures, from the sages who were Tattvadarshina. It is explained in, I think, 4th chapter or 5th chapter. Tattvadarshina, ones who can see the truth. Obviously, Vedvyaji has mentioned this. Vedvyaji is Shakti Avatar of Krishna himself. Shakti Avatar. We discussed 6 different kinds of avatars, incarnations. Empowered to write literature. So Krishna himself, you can think like that. Krishna himself wrote those Vedas. Obviously, he gave that instruction, that all that to Brahmaji in the heart. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. First verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is this. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi. So he transferred that knowledge to Brahmaji, and that's when the disciple succession comes. The same soul, 1/10,000th, is in the blue whale, 100 feet blue whale, narwhal, and elephant. Can you imagine? A small chip cannot perform big tasks. For that you need bigger chip. Imagine. This is what Krishna has made. Right? Soul is inconceivable. We cannot understand soul very easily. Just by spiritual practice we can understand. Right? And that is why it is mentioned. We are a spirit soul, and Krishna is super soul. And how we have the material body, we have the body, we have the material body. Similarly, spirit will also have a spiritual body. And how we have material world, similarly we have a spiritual world as well. Right? We discussed that आचल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले या गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो बस प्यार ही प्यार पले. We sang that song. That place is actually spiritual world. We will discuss that. Bhagavad also explains. We will discuss more in future words. But that is known as spiritual world, which is Satchidananda, eternal, conscious, and also completely spiritual, Ananda, blissful. And the example of ocean is given. If you take a drop of ocean, it will have all the qualities that an ocean will have. But can you say that drop of ocean as ocean? No. Right? What will you say? It's just a drop of ocean. Right? Similarly, scripture explains that we are actually the part and parcel of the God, of Krishna. Part and parcel. So we have the soul will have the same qualities. Almost. Not everything we'll see in Nectar of Devotion, but anyways. Almost same qualities as Krishna, but not in minute quantity, not in full quantity. The same as the ocean, example of ocean. Soul, Jivatma, Super Soul, Paramatma. Last time we discussed, right? Vadandita Tattvaidam Tattvam Yadgyanadvayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan Iti Shabdati. I said that Paramatma we will discuss in the next session. This is Paramatma. When we say Paramatma, there is a third way to understand Lord. First is Bhagwan, third we discussed, which was Brahman, Brahmajyoti, and middle one is Paramatma. So we can understand only our body, but Krishna, he explained in 13th chapter, he can understand all the body, Paramatma. And that Paramatma, who is that Paramatma? It is Kshirodaksha Vishnu. You remember I discussed, Karadaksha Vishnu is the one who is the super soul of all the universes. Garbhodaksha Vishnu is the super soul of one universe. And third is Kshirodaksha Vishnu. In each and everyone's heart, the Paramatma that is residing is, the scripture explains, his name is Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Kshirodaksha Vishnu. So we are eternal servant and Krishna is the eternal master. We'll discuss this also in future sessions. So we are not gods. And remember I discussed that story. I used to be an atheist till the time I thought I am God. We are not God, but we are gods. Apostrophe S. It basically means there are different rasas that we can have with God. One of this is servant. Yes, God's servant. We'll see again in the 6th session, but just we are talking about souls, so I just thought I would mention this.
So who decides the death? Is it the soul wants to leave the body, or it just happens and then soul leaves the body?
No, I did not understand. Can you repeat the question?
So is it somebody dies, then the soul decides to leave the body, or else is it soul wants to leave, then the death happens?
No, when death is coming near, the Yamaraj will take away the soul. Yamadutas will come and take away the soul. Either Yamadutas will come or Vishnudutas will come. Soul itself doesn't decide. The Yamadutas, they decide when the soul has to be taken. Anyways, that we'll discuss more, maybe not even in 6 sessions, it will be more in the future sessions. Okay. 1 minute, I'll just complete this. I will skip this story, this we don't have time. We can show, I just want to show this quick video and then we'll have start with Prashadam. This is only 1 minute video. This we'll discuss in the next session. Soul changing bodies. It's only 1 minute video. Thank you very much.